If they think we are causing xenophobia, they must go back to their countries. We don't want them anymore here. If somebody feels that South Africans are xenophobic, go back to your country, that's all.
A lot has been happening since South Africa chased other African countries out of their country. Here's a shocking prophecy, Pastor Priest review, that's got everyone talking.
Say yesterday and probably on Friday that I was going to say something about what is going on in South Africa. I want to save you from trouble. Sir. That's why I want to talk to you. I want to save you from trouble. Because sometimes many don't understand what's pushing them and how easily they could go over the cliff. Satan doesn't love peace. He's not one to give peace. He doesn't want you to have peace or prosperity. And you have to know that. In Revelation chapter 6, the Bible opens for us these 4 horsemen for the last days and the judgments that will come on this world. And the first one is one riding on a white horse. And I want us to begin reading from verse 1, chapter 6. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. We've talked about this on several occasions, but I want you to look at the next verse. When he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Observe that construction. He was given power to take peace from the earth. And what followed? And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So he was given power to take peace from the earth. And what followed? Killings. Years ago, during the administration of President Shehu Shagari in Nigeria, the people came to the conclusion that their young people weren't getting good jobs. They had sudden economic problems after they had been prosperous for a few years. And decided some other Africans who had come to Nigeria during the years of prosperity, because they kind of fled economic hardships in their countries and relocated to Nigeria and took up different kinds of jobs. Well, many Nigerians concluded that the reason they were having difficulties was because of these immigrants who were now in their country. And they zeroed in particularly on Ghanaians who were their next door neighbors and insisted all Ghanaians must leave the country. And the president also did announce that those who were illegal immigrants must leave. But the trouble with a lot of such things is that when the people on the grounds, when those in the streets decide they have the power to execute judgment because the others are illegals or they're illegally here, we must send them out. So they insisted the Ghanaians must leave. What a sight it was back in those years. They had to go. Did things change? No. They were definitely not enough to have caused a dent in the economy. But they were the scapegoats. They were sent away in pain. They had been here for several years, and they were to leave suddenly. So the Nigerians believed they had justification to send them out. Go back to your country. And when such things happen, you can't distinguish in the street between the one who's legally there and the one who's not legally there. It's the government functionaries that have the authority to decide who's legal and who's not legal. It's not the guy in the street who's supposed to ask you, where are you from? And you say, well, I'm from such and such a place. Okay, so are you here legally? He doesn't even have the wherewithal to make such decisions. It cannot be left to everyone who is angry. The government already has structures to deal with illegal immigration. So leave that to the government. Now, if you say the government is not doing it, protest to the government. Protest to the government, then the government will listen to you. Protest to the government. You don't go after those that's taking the law into your hands. Now, you accuse them of breaking the law by coming in illegally, and you attack them by breaking the law. You cannot take the law into your hands and go after them and tell them they must leave. You don't have the authority to do that. That's also illegal. It's as illegal as their illegal immigration. Here is where you get into real trouble. Imagine that they resist in self-defense. One little spark of a problem can lead to terrible devastation. That's why I warn you. If you're not happy with the immigrants in the country, protest to the government. They allow protests. So you can go in the street to the government and let them hear you, and they will take actions. There are legal ways of dealing with such things. It's not appropriate for you, when you are not the law enforcement agent, it's not appropriate for you to give an ultimatum to the immigrants in your country and say, on such and such a date, you must leave. It's not okay. You're not authorized to do that. You don't have the right to do it. You are just as illegal in such an action as they are illegal in coming into your country without the right documentation. And that is assuming that you're only upset with those who came in illegally. The trouble doesn't stop there. When we say xenophobia, maybe you need to understand what it really is. It comes from two words, two Greek words, xenos and phobos. Xenos refers to a stranger or a foreigner. And then of course, phobos, fear. The fear that you would fail because the strangers in your country taking over the economy. The fear that because of them, things are not going to go well with you. The fear that they're harmful. The fear that their crimes are worse than your crimes. And that fear doesn't make you run away from them. That fear makes you attack them. I want you to understand. It makes you attack them. That's why you can be accused of xenophobia. Some even say it's Afrophobia because they think it's only Africans that it's directed to. But it's the same. You walk in a dangerous spot. I'd like to remind you that the case with Ghana was a very easy one because it's not too long ago. It was bad. Now imagine if that goes on throughout Africa. But it can get worse and lead to genocide. Ask yourself what happened to Rwanda in the early 1990s. These were people that lived together. They're of the same culture, the Tutsis and the Hutus. Same culture, same people. These were not two ethnic groups. They're the same ethnic group. And of course, their colonial masters helped them to create some differences between them by telling them that the cattle headers were different from the farmers. Okay, so the Hutus were farmers, the Tutsis were rearing cattle, and you got more money from the cattle than you did from farming. The Hutus were more, the Tutsis were lesser in numbers. And so the colonial masters favored the Tutsis and gave the impression that they were superior to the others, eventually giving them ID cards. Further solidifying a difference between them, which they wanted, because you must understand that the colonial masters had a divide and rule method of government. These were the Germans and the Belgians. And after, they projected the Tutsis. But after the independence, the Hutus took over power and marginalized further the Tutsis. They were the same people. They went to the same schools, lived among themselves, worshipped in the same churches, intermarried. In fact, it was said that you could be a Tutsi and later become a Hutu if your economic conditions changed. If you moved from going with cattle, doing cattle business, and you became a farmer, you became a Hutu. And if circumstances changed in your favor and you got more cattle and became wealthy, you became a Tutsi. That's how close they were. But the day came when the Hutu president was killed in a plane crash along with the Burundian president. And the Hutus blamed the Tutsis for it and immediately isolated them. And they started hunting them down. Everywhere they found a Tutsi, he had to die. And if you were Hutu and you supported, or rather you supported the Tutsi, or you were against the genocide, you were killed as well. And before long, more than 800,000 people have been killed. That's a large number. It spiraled down very quickly. The genocide. It wasn't planned from the beginning. They'd had disagreements before. Yugoslavia, the largest country in the world, split into 7 different countries. You remember the Bosnian Wars, genocide of Sarajevo, Srebrenica, dark history. It happens very easily. That's why I'm warning you. It happens very easily. So those who are telling you on the 30th of June, we're going out and we're going to harass or stop or drive out all undocumented immigrants. They don't have the power to do it. It's illegal. Leave that job for the police. Leave it for the government. And I said, if you think the government is not doing enough, protest to the government. Go to the government. Protest to the government. Don't take the laws into your hands. Every God-fearing person should refuse to follow those foolish instructions. Don't go with them. I tell you, it's improper. A mob cannot create peace. You have a government. Let the government do its job. It's easy to say, if the government is not doing it, we're gonna help the government. How are you gonna help the government? You put the government in place. They're your representatives. Don't destroy your own country while you're thinking that you're trying to save it from these immigrants.